Hey, Yes Supply Insiders, it's Reese here. Hopefully this Facebook Live works. The last one was saying that my connection wasn't good, but I'm just hanging at home, so should be fine. So hope you guys are having an amazing week. Sorry I didn't pop into the room last week. Last week was Mercury in retrograde, and if I can give you any technical advice at all, it would be never ever relaunch your blog during Mercury in retrograde, because the amount of tech issues and crashes and just crazy outlandish things broken and not working that was happening was insane. But always, no matter what the setbacks are, no matter how hard it is, no matter how many technical issues you have, don't ever take your eyes off of the prize. You will eventually get there. And I had a ton of tech issues. Every single day I was discovering a new tech issue, and I made it through it. We've beaten pretty much all of them. So don't ever give up. Don't let weird stuff slow you down, because sometimes the hard stuff happens to show you that you got to work for it and that it's worth it in the end run. And a lot of people won't make it through the hard stuff. So if you're one of those few people who can get over the technical difficulties and the setbacks and that sort of thing, then you've earned whatever success that you get. So this week, if you are opening up your Good Morning Beautiful emails, starting your morning routine like that, which I certainly hope you are, you've noticed that this week we are talking about productivity and making the most out of your time. And this is so important. I remember when I was first launching Yes Supply, people are asking me, like, how do you find the time to do it? Like, I never have enough time in the day, never have enough hours in the day. But when you really look at how you're using your time, you'll see that there's a lot of gaps, a lot of places where we're not being very productive. And so one thing that I did was I made use of all of my time. I didn't waste my time, and that's how I was able to grow my community and my business and my blog so quickly. So a lot of times people will say, how do you get so much done in the day? But when they really pick apart and they look at what they're doing with their time, a lot of it is going to social media, a lot of it is on Facebook, or, obviously spending time with your friends and socializing is important, but it's like, how much time do you need to spend, going out, partying, that sort of thing? And how can you find a balance? So I'm going to, obviously all week you're going to be getting tips and tricks on how to up-level your productivity and make more out of your time. But I thought I would pop in here on a Facebook Live, share a little video with you guys. You guys can always leave questions or comments for me below. So one of the first tips that I'm going to tell you about making the most out of your time is prioritizing. So as a business owner, as a blog owner, as an artist, thanks for the hearts, it's really, really important to prioritize. And the reason is because, especially when you own a online business, there is so much busy work. So much busy work. You can spend all day feeling like you're productive, feeling like you're getting a lot of stuff done, but it's not actually contributing to the overall goal that you have. So if you're first launching a business, obviously one of the first things that you have to keep in mind is monetization. But there's so many little things that can kind of set you back that are still important but don't tie right in with monetization. So that could be, answering every single comment on your Instagram feed, or following everyone back on your Instagram feed, or answering every single question in your Facebook group, or whatever. And although that is important, you have to make sure that you're prioritizing the things that are actually going to move the needle in your business. So if you are selling a physical product, for example, your most important thing is, okay, how am I positioning my product? Have I even created my product? Am I ready to sell, ship, and package my product? This is so important because I see so many people saying, oh, I'm not selling anything, or nobody's reading my blog. And then you go look at their blog and they have 8 posts. I've had clients like that, I want to get 30,000 views on my website, but you have less than 10 posts. So what do you really expect people to read, right? So the most important thing is prioritize. Okay, you need to make your product, you need to make that thing that you're going to sell, and then you need to make sure that you're marketing and you're connecting with people and just really focusing on the things that are going to make the biggest impact for you. Another thing is that when you start a business, a creative business, it's your baby. Yes Supply is my baby. I'm sure everything that you've started is your baby for you too. And so it's hard to give away tasks because you think that you have to do every single little thing. You think that you need to, source all of your images or write every single blog post and, schedule everything. And it's really important to find the right people to work with and not be afraid to give up a little bit of responsibility and actually outsource. So start to think about whatever you're building as a company. Don't just think of it as you and your little creative project, but think of it as something bigger than yourself, because companies have employees, companies have people to lean on. And if you're a boss, which we all want to be bosses, we need to get really, really good at delegating, at giving out responsibility, and overseeing big projects to help lead them through completion. So as soon as you're ready, hiring a virtual assistant is such a huge time saver. I have a virtual assistant, and honestly, she's amazing. She is really great at taking care of the tasks that I find are very repetitive. The stuff that you do that, sometimes takes hours and hours to do, but doesn't necessarily have a lot of creativity. That's the kind of thing that I pass off to my virtual assistant, and I know that she can get it done without any fault. And then that gives me time to think of, okay, what's going to go into my blog content calendar? Who am I going to collaborate with? What are the next big projects that are happening for Yes Supply? And really just keep focused on the long-term vision. Because essentially, if you're working in your business, then there's nobody out there to work on your business. So you really have to be seeing overall what's happening, and then depend on other people that you're working with to help you take care of the little tasks that you need to move forward towards that big term goal. So recognize busy work. One thing is really, really be aware of where your time is going. A lot of times we'll fill in empty spaces in our day with just scrolling through social media or scrolling through Facebook, but think about how can I make that time really productive? So maybe you're still working your full-time job and you're hustling, sort of doing something else on the side. You can use little bits of time in the day to help build that up to your big term goal and your big term vision. So that's why every single day, if you're opening up your Good Morning Beautiful emails, you'll see that there's just one intention for the day. You have to set one intention for the day, and just getting that little thing done is going to move you closer to that big term goal. So maybe it's writing a blog article, and so when you're standing in line getting lunch, use that time productively instead of just scrolling through Facebook, looking for something that might not even be there. Write a blog post, do some creative brainstorming, talk to people about what your mission is or what your passion is, and see what type of feedback you can get from other people. And that alone will help you start to fill those little gaps of space, like 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 10 minutes here, and before you know it, you have an extra hour of productive work in your day every single day. So for me, I think that social media can be like a huge time suck. So really, whenever you're getting on there, having a goal in mind, having an outcome in mind and an objective in mind. Make sure that you're time blocking. So if you know that you have to get something done, set a deadline, set what needs to be done in order for that big term goal to be done, and make sure you're working towards it and hitting those checkpoints. Because a lot of times people will passively say, oh, well, I'd really, really love to do this, and I'd really, really love to do that. But if you don't put a hard set deadline, it's going to take forever. You're never going to get it done. And that's why a lot of people have those goals where they're like, oh yeah, I wanted to start a blog 3 years ago, and then I kept putting it off, and all of a sudden 3 years have passed by and I have nothing. Even if you started with a little bit, even if you started just doing 10 minutes a day, you'd be way further ahead than not doing anything at all. So always have a plan. So what time blocking means is, even if you're hustling, even if you're doing 100 things, when you sit down in front of your computer to work, you should already know what you want to work on. You should already have a plan in mind. And so I like to time block and have different priorities to do every single day, so that when I sit down in front of my computer on a Monday, I know, okay, I'm writing a blog post, or I'm doing a marketing plan or something like that. If I sit down on a Tuesday, okay, I'm creating content. If I sit down on this day, I'm doing this or that. And so that way, when you sit down, you can dedicate your mind to one thing and actually complete it. Because a lot of people think that they can multitask, and our brain actually isn't really created to multitask. We're not very good at multitasking successfully. So if we have 50 tabs open on our computer, and we're like, okay, I'm writing a blog post over here, and I'm Instagramming over here, and I'm Twittering over there, and I'm, whatever. You start off 100 projects and you never actually complete one, and that is so demotivating and demoralizing, because you're like, oh, I feel like I'm working all the time, but I'm not seeing any progress. And so you see that progress when you focus on one thing and you work towards it to completion. So these are a few quick tips that I think can really, really help you make the most out of your time, do more in less time. If you have any other questions on managing your time or getting more organized, just leave them in the comments below. And make sure you're checking your Good Morning Beautiful emails every single day this week, because I'm going to be packing them with more tips to help you start your day feeling organized, prioritizing your time, and making the most out of your precious time. Time is literally the most precious thing that you have. Money, if you lost all the money in your bank account, you could go make it back. But if you lost all the time, it's gone. So really make sure that the things that you're spending your time on are things that you really, really care about, that you're invested in, and that bring you joy. So thank you so much for joining in. I saw that there was a couple ladies joining in, so thank you so much for being here and liking this. And yeah, definitely leave me any comments below. Later this week, I'm going to be interviewing Gala Darling, which I'm super excited about. So if you haven't left any questions for me to send over to her or make sure I include in the interview, yeah, just let us know in here, and have a great day, guys.